Welcome back, and today I've got Rona Rodrig back with me to talk a little bit more about energy healing and specifically how we can combine different types of energy healing modalities to aid us on our wellness journeys. So we're going to talk about intuitive reading, intuitive energy healing, Reiki, and then how she does a very unique and special combination of the three. So Rona.
Hi.
Hi. Let's start with, what is an intuitive reading and how do you do one?
Okay. So an intuitive reading is essentially when an intuitive or a healer who has intuitive insights and can access energy is able to read the energy of the client. And whether it's through clairvoyance or clairsentience or all the other clairs, however the information comes to them. So symbols, seeing, hearing, knowing, feeling, we're able to read the energy of the client and then get messages or insights that we share that hopefully can help the client through a difficult situation, or just to know what's going on with them and maybe what next steps they can take, or how to just proceed and feel better in their body and in their life.
Yeah. That's amazing. And we actually, a little bit earlier, did a session, right? So we started with a meditation. So how does the meditation piece kind of play into how you facilitate a reading and healing?
Yeah, so my favorite types of sessions with clients are hybrid sessions that really bring together all the things and modalities that I've learned and acquired along the way. So I love to start with a healing meditation that really brings the client into their body and away from distractions and regular life, external life, and just to come into themselves.
Yeah.
And that helps them relax and helps their energy to become more pure and clear to me as a healer and a reader, to be able to access them,
right,
rather than all the distractions and external energies that affect us so much.
Yeah.
So it just starts the session really peacefully and, kind of gets rid of anything that isn't needed in that moment.
Absolutely. And in addition to making it that kind of transition from, hey, I've shown up for a healing session, to let me be healed, I think for you, you mentioned that it helps you pick up on the energy a little bit more, a little bit easier to make the energy come through more clearly. But for me, as the recipient, I think that it was such an important transition to go into a more relaxed state through a guided meditation, which Rona led so beautifully. It was amazing. And I think that after having gone through the meditation, I was much more open, right, and receptive to whatever healing energy that you were going to send my way. So that was super interesting and important. And then we had a conversation. You took some notes down, right?
Yes.
And so will you share with me what you wrote in your notes?
Yeah. So I just have a few kind of questions for myself, or areas that I look into in the client's energy. And often they relate to 8 areas that correspond to our energy centers in the body, the chakras, and just get an intuitive reading of where the person is spiritually, mentally, vocationally, in the heart space, personal power, passion, hobby, family, financial, and physical. So I get an intuitive number, essentially, and then that guides me in sort of communicating where I think some blockages are, where maybe the client can, do some things to improve how they're feeling and what they're going through. So it's really kind of combining that reading and then translating it a little bit, and then communicating and sharing it and seeing if it resonates with the client.
Yeah. And, in our last video, we talked a little bit about one of the great benefits of seeing an energy healer is that you don't necessarily need to know where a blockage might exist in order to receive healing. And when we sat down for our session, you gave me feedback through the intuitive reading that you did, was that I needed to have more joy and passion in my life related to fun things and hobbies, not stuff related to the work that I do, because this is fun for me, right? Like creating
That's also fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but it is definitely, it's something that I'm working on, and I put a lot of effort into it, and I want to see a great outcome. But we were talking about, and you saw dancing for me, which was really amazing. And it reminded me that in focusing so much on the work that I'm doing, have kind of let my hobbies or just things that I do for fun kind of go to the wayside. And it was really interesting that you picked up on that, because I didn't think of that as that's something I need to pay attention to. So do you have any examples of other clients that you might have worked with where you picked up on something that they did not know was necessarily an issue or something they needed to pay attention to?
So oftentimes people have physical pain, and they might think it's because of a sports injury or an accident or something that is purely physical. Mm-hmm. But in doing an energy reading and in some of the energy healing, and the fact that I believe that any pain or injury or suffering has its roots in a metaphysical place, not just the physical.
Right.
So in an emotional, spiritual, or psychological source, in a reading and just through some guidance and things that I've learned, I am able to usually pinpoint the deeper source, root cause of the pain. So in even just introducing that could be a completely, out of the blue thing for the client, depending on how, immersed they are in spiritual and energy healing. That opens up a healing channel already. So I had a client who came in with she has chronic back pain. And in our session, we uncovered, through my reading and energy and also talking, that really the cause of a lot of that pain is not just how she sits at her desk or, something physical, but that it's related to financial worry. She had been through a divorce and, is really struggling or thinks she's struggling and taking on a lot of tension and stress that is very much connected to that part of the back.
Yeah.
And so in bringing that to light, that was helpful. And then using some energy healing techniques and also Reiki, we were able to release some of that.
Oh, wow.
And then, now several months later, she says that she still hasn't had that kind of wrenching pain that she's had.
That's so amazing.
So it's an ongoing process, and often people go back to their old programming and ways of thinking, but it's amazing to be able to uncover the deep-seated roots of things and then start helping people help themselves
to bring consciousness and awareness to the problem, right?
Yes.
So I think that something that I'm excited to see happening more and more is that we're realizing that health is not singularly about our physical well-being, but it's a combination of mind, body, and spirit. And when we try to separate those things, we often miss the root cause of what's causing our suffering. So through an intuitive energy healing, I think it's such a great opportunity to recognize it's this suffering is manifesting physically. Let's say it's a lower back pain or a knee injury, but there's another cause that's mind related or psychological or spirit, right? There's this wounding that's happened that's now been stuck or stored in that space, and that an intuitive healer or any energy healer can kind of help bring that to the surface. And then when you have consciousness and awareness around it, then you can bring various types of healing, whether it's Reiki or if it's talk therapy, or in the case of your client, maybe it's changing some financial patterns, right? To it's that holistic approach to healing instead of let me just go put medication on this thing to try to make it better.
Absolutely. And in all of my sessions, I try to bring that awareness to clients and give them tools to actually continue the healing on their own. It's really teaching everyone to find the healer inside,
right,
and the guru inside, because we do have that wisdom. We just need to learn how to connect with it and listen to it, and then apply it. So it's really about that awareness and letting that sink in and being able to heal yourself ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great point of, we have the healer within, we have the answers within, but sometimes we need a little help to kind of remember that or to affirm that. For example, if I had an inkling that this pain was related to this thing and then a healer were to confirm it for me, it's like, oh, I knew that though, right?
Yes.
And this person is just simply affirming or kind of assuring me that like I had that wisdom.
Yes.
And then it's like, now doing that a few times is like, okay, I have this. I have this information. Next time I go to a healer, I can, say, I think it's this, and then you can get a little bit more directed in your healing. Yeah,
it's all about trusting yourself and that wisdom that's in all of us, and also quieting down the external distractions.
Yes,
we are so distracted these days with our phones, with media, with like everything, and we just don't go inward enough.
Yeah.
If we did, we would all be healers.
So true. I would love to talk more about intuition and how we can strengthen that, not just by quieting distractions, but I'm sure there are other ways that we can, as individuals who maybe sense we have a stronger intuition, but just don't know how to kind of develop that. Like maybe we can talk about that on the next video.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much, Rona, for joining us. And thank you all for watching. And be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll be notified when new videos are posted. In the meantime, check out the video that Rona and I did talking about the basics around what Reiki energy is and how Reiki energy works. I'll see you next time.